Hey, what's up? You've got Rob from Terror at Synth High, and today I'm here to talk to you about 5 horror movie soundtracks on vinyl that you might like, or at least that I sure as hell do. So the criteria for this list was horror movie soundtracks on vinyl that I own and that I really enjoy. I took 5 of them and I numbered them in order from 5 to 1, and I will be going through those today. Obviously, you don't have to listen to these on vinyl. I just find that to be the best way that I like to listen to them. Of course, if you can find these elsewhere, they're just as good. I know a lot of people say everything sounds better on vinyl. I like the art, but anyway, so keep that in mind when watching this. Also, for frame of reference, what I listen to my vinyl on is an Audio-Technica LP120 with Edifier BT 1700 speakers, in case you care about that. They don't. Whatever. One final note, these are not my favorite horror movie soundtracks of all time on vinyl. Haha, I did that on purpose, in case you like this list so I can make some more. What? However, all joking aside, these are 5 albums I listen to all the time and are great. It's not what you said 5 seconds ago. Start the list! First off is Martin, the George Romero movie. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the movies on this, but for a George Romero movie, I feel like that's pretty underrated, as well as the soundtrack is pretty underrated. Now, Martin's got a mostly minimalistic soundtrack that has jazzy yet subdued kind of progressive rock tones to it. It's a little artsy, and not everything is. Sometimes there's just sounds and ambience and then mixes into the music, which when the music does kick in is more of a gothic contemporary kind of style that I really feel matches the movie, because it's, the tale itself is a contemporary for the 70s gothic movie about a kid who, is he a vampire or is he not? The movie takes place in, surprise, if you know any sort of George Romero films, where does it take place? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it always takes place. How that works out for the soundtrack is it's a depressed kind of industrial city, and there's a tone to, a depressed kind of downtrodden sound to this. It's mostly woodwinds and percussion and some sax and, wind instruments and some synth put into there. But it gives kind of a, very subdued, like I said before, gothic kind of feel to it. Mixing with that contemporary tale of a vampire. If you haven't seen the movie, you should check it out for sure. That'll be talked about a different time. But I feel that this really captures it. It really captures that, kind of, sad, down on its luck city, and a kid who's going through some things and, is troubled by things going on around him. So yeah, definitely check out Martin on vinyl or otherwise. Oh, I also almost forgot to mention, this album was recorded by the music of Donald Rubinstein, and it's on Ship to Shore Records. So I should be giving credit to that, and you should be checking it out if you want to hear some good music, which I imagine you do. A little FYI, this is my favorite Rainy Sunday album. Favorite album to listen to on a rainy Sunday. Now you know something about me. Up next, we got Dawn of the Dead, also by George Romero. You know what you're thinking. It's not all George Romero. Would be okay if it was, though. Anywho, I got 2 of these, actually. That ain't bad. Oh, hey, Jessica's home. Hey, Jessica. What is there to say about Dawn of the Dead soundtrack? Well, this is my introduction to Goblin, the band, the synth band that plays progressive rock style, that then started doing a ton of horror movies, a lot of Italian horror movies with Argento. Also did this, was the first thing that I heard them do. And I loved it. I don't want to dwell on this one too long because I feel like a lot of people know it and a lot of people have heard it, and it would just be me kind of speaking over things that you don't really need to hear. I will say for myself personally though, this album was one of the first places where I ever heard progressive rock, which is also one of my favorite styles of music in general, you know, with Goblin. So yeah, holds a lot of pertinence for me, a lot of, you know, just personal favorite album of mine. So there you go. Okay, I'm not done yet. You should really get this one if you can. This is by Waxwork Records, and it's like the definitive edition. Vinyl is beautiful. All of the art on it in the inside of this, all inside here, is all beautiful. I believe it comes with a little frameable poster too. Yeah, you should get it. You know how I mentioned like 2 seconds ago that Goblin did some other things for Dario Argento? Boom, that's one of them, and probably my favorite of all. Profondo Rosso, also known as Deep Red, is a defining giallo, I don't care how you say it. Anyway, it's a defining one. That was done in 1975. This soundtrack is, I think, some of the best music by Goblin. Before this, they actually were another band called Cherry 5, and Dario Argento found them. He was a big fan of progressive rock music around the same time that he was making his earlier movies, and they changed their name from Cherry 5, which was a more traditional progressive rock band, had vocals and everything, to Goblin, which they would become, and this would be the first album that they put out as Goblin. And like I said, I still think one of my favorites, the title track, Profondo Rosso, is just defines everything that is great about Goblin. This also has a really great sound production on it. I don't really see anything by this band, by this label, Rustblade. This is the only thing I have by them. Yeah, it sounds great, and I would definitely recommend picking this up. Deep Red, Profondo Rosso, check it out. Speaking of progressive rock, Rick Wakeman does the soundtrack to The Burning, 1981 slasher movie, a camp slasher movie. Like I said, not going to get into that. You probably know it because you're watching this. So Rick Wakeman is the keyboardist for a lot of the best, what a lot of people consider the best years Yes performed. Yes, the progressive rock band. Tying it into progressive rock again, it's almost like I thought of something before I made this list. This album, as you would imagine, if you know anything about progressive rock, is full of synth. And if you know anything about Rick Wakeman, he likes to make albums and has made many solo albums. This is a perfect culmination for me because I love slasher movies from this time period and I love progressive rock, and Rick Wakeman is great. Huh! Who would have guessed a guy who looks like that would be so into pretentious music? Ha! Oh, I hurt my own feelings. So lots of trilly synth, things like that. Still has a, you know, very slasher movie kind of feel to it too. You know, it's typical of that time period. What's really cool about this album in particular, and this one was by One Way Static. I remember this took a really long time to come out. This one's a limited pressing of 500, I think. But I think it might be out other places. If you can get your hands on this, I would recommend it because it's got a whole side that has Rick Wakeman's variants on it, and that is where it really shines. This might be a little bit of a cheat because it's not technically in the movie, but it's the guy who did the music for the movie doing his own variations of the songs that he made for the movie, so it counts. Plus, there's obviously the whole regular soundtrack on there too. Highly recommend this for fans of slasher movies or progressive rock. Yeah, definitely check this one out. I think it, for a while, flew under the radar. I don't think it's been on vinyl for a while. I don't know really. I hadn't heard the soundtrack until, you know, shortly before I got this. I mean, obviously I heard it while watching the movie, but the full soundtrack is definitely a lot of fun. And my final pick for this list, did you guess it? Probably not, because it's Silent Night, Deadly Night. So why is it Silent Night, Deadly Night? Well, the soundtrack itself is pretty damn cool. It's got very frantic, kind of sloppy, synthy, dark, rushed kind of a sound to it. It's definitely evil sounding, but that's not what's so cool about this, because this version from Death Waltz is it has two discs to it. And your first vinyl has the full soundtrack of the movie, but the second one has 10 songs that were made just for the movie. When does someone make 10 songs for the movie? Now there's like 4 or 5 people that work on these songs interchangeably, and they are all cheesy, awesome Christmas goodness. You've got classics like Merry Christmas Baby, Warm Side of the Door, Sleigh Rider, Christmas Party, and more. And everyone is just fun. And they are in the movie too. At least I can pick out a lot of them that are. Some of them might have gotten cut, I don't know. But this is just pure fun. And like I said, you can definitely pick the scenes where they were used in the movie for a lot of them, and that adds more fun to it. I can't remember the last time I've seen any movie of any genre put this many original songs on there and have them be this fucking delicious. And this is an album that I like to put on. Me and my girlfriend love this album, and just, you know, listening to it together. You know, it's also one of her favorite horror movies too. So we love to listen to this. I like to just drink and listen to this during Christmas and June. What am I doing later? I feel this really hasn't been talked about enough. Just as a fun soundtrack, and just as, if you like the movie, you're gonna love this. I really highly recommend checking it out. Like I said, wherever you can check it out. I think they're still for sale through Death Waltz. You might want to go there and check that out. Yeah, this has taken a #1 spot just for the thematic tie-ins and the fun for today. So there's 5 horror movie soundtracks on vinyl that I love, that I think you might enjoy too if you haven't heard. Otherwise, if you already know about all these, then good for you. You're listening to some good shit. I hope you found something to listen to today. If you've heard these all before, let me know what you think of them, and what else did I miss? What should I talk about? There's lots more to talk about for sure, but I want to know what you think. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and we'll be talking again soon about some more horror movie music. So thanks for joining us today. Take care. All right, all set. Wonder if I'm gonna get any shit for putting Silent Night, Deadly Night above freaking Goblin album. Internet's usually pretty understanding.